Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another podcast of Sustainability Sisters. I am Smarika.
I am Prerna.
And Sanchari.
And I'm Naba.
And we are
And
Sustainability Sisters.
Sustainability Sisters.
Yes. So, in today's discussion, actually, we discussed a lot about how we should go about it. Initially, we also discussed that probably we should share memes in this group, and that would be something fun to do. But eventually, we decided on that we are going to share some serious topics on all the verticals of environmental, social, and governance. That's because it becomes very difficult for us to also make fun of these subjects because they are so grave, and we are also in the understanding phase of all of these subjects. So yeah, that's why today we have decided that we are going to be talking about the current affairs which are impacting our daily lives and your daily lives, and what the decision makers are doing in this space. So before we move into the news articles, I just want to share a little bit about Sustainability Sisters. So I'm going to be sharing my screen, and so I have some commandments or some guidelines that we have in Sustainability Sisters. So this space is for sharing, because all of us are working women and we are working in environment and we are working about the environmental impacts and social impacts. Sharing becomes really important for us because the day-to-day news about changing climate or negative news really impacts us. So this group helps us sharing and finding that other person is also facing the same problem, so that eventually when we have something that we can share, for instance, some solution to the problem, then this will be a common space, or we can also like sometimes cry together on the same issue. So that is the purpose. Other than this, we are also learning here, we are taking feedback from each other, and we are mostly working towards a common objective, which is sustainability. So doing that, we also want to raise awareness, and we want to build a community which is more sustainable. So like we discussed last time, that these are some of the steps that we are taking to be sustainable ourselves. We also want to tell our listeners or our viewers about how they can be more sustainable in their life. So with that, I would want if some of you want to add some more to what Sustainability Sisters mean for you. Over to you, sisters.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say being one of the Sustainability Sisters mean to me that major objective for me is to sharing my knowledge back to the community and sharing it very vast awareness, because YouTube is one of the channel that we can share a vast amount of knowledge at a very fast pace, right? And share the most critical issue that is happening right now. And we can see all of us that with the heat waves coming in the north side and the ferocious temperature rising that is happening. So that is just one of the aspects that we are facing right now, but there are many more to come. But since we are here to save doing a little bit to save the environment and doing a little bit to share the awareness, we will hope that we will do something great in the near future.
Yes, definitely, Prerna. Yes, we are going to save the earth.
honestly, climate change and working in sustainability for me, this podcast especially is more about the community that we are building here. Because climate panic is a thing, and our generation especially is susceptible to it. So many things happening together all at once. You need a group of people to be in constant touch with you, discuss your fears, and then maybe possibly find a way out, alternatives. Look at what other people are doing. That's what we have here, a space where we can talk about this. Looking forward to more.
Thanks, Sanchari. That's so beautiful. Over to you, Naba.
I agree with Sanchari that we are the generation that is susceptible to it. We are the one that is, facing it live right now every year. the summers get warmer, the rain gets scattered or suddenly denser. You know, the middle class bears the brunt of the environment change. Vegetables gets more expensive. It's mainly the global south that is really bearing the expense of the climate change. If we don't talk about it right now, then who will? It's kind of, since we are the one facing it, it's our responsibility to raise that voice right now, because if we don't do it, the next generation is going to suffer way more than we are. And sustainability, by the essence of it, is a community based feeling. It's one person can make a small ripple, but if people come together and really strive to this common goal, that is when we're going to achieve some substantial change in this, and that's needed right now. So for me, this is a platform where I have this like-minded women coming in, discussing, talking, enlightening each other, sharing our goals and our knowledge with each other. So that is what Sustainably Sisters is for me. This is a community where you can come, talk about it, raise your voice, learn, and try to make that change that's needed, right?
Sure, very powerful words, Naba. Thank you very much. So with this, that we want to create a sustainability community around us, and we first of all want to create that kind of awareness. So to also learn ourselves, we have started to deep dive into the news articles around us, what is happening actually in our country and on the planet, what are some positive and negative news that happened this week. So each of us is going to share the articles that they connected with the most, and let's see. So I'm going to be starting first. So starting with the community work that we want to do. So the first article that I am sharing is about what is happening in Nicobar Islands. So I assume that a lot of you already know what's happening. So there is a big construction project. It's called Nicobar Project. And it is going to become the next Hong Kong of India. It is envisioned to be the Hong Kong of India. So what actually is happening, it's currently is super green, it's rich in biodiversity, and the people who are living there are Champagne and they are tribal people. So they are going to be wiped out. So here now we are talking about biodiversity, but our government is not respectful to the human beings themselves. So I think biodiversity will then of course take a back burner. The port is going to be making a lot more money, and it's going to be replacing the currently existing people who are just 8,000, and the population is going to be 6,50,000, and it's going to be a port which helps in trading and stuff, so it brings a lot of money. But I'm sure that there is no environmental impact assessment has been done, because I'm sure the kind of positive impacts this kind of forest make is huge. It's so much huge, especially currently where when like people want to plant trees. So it's rather sad that we are removing the already existing biodiversity. Biodiversity does not ask anything other than just to be left alone, but we are not able to do that as well. So government has said that they are going to make up for the environmental destruction, and they are going to be planting scrubland, which is 2,000 miles away. Crocodiles are going to be moved. Some coral reefs are going to be moved. But this of course cannot make it up for the kind of destruction is going to be happening. And then this is almost like not having they say that the entire genetics of these people is going to be wiped out, because their way of living, everything is going to be wiped out. So this is really rather sad what government is doing. They should have actually considered other places which could become port, and at this point we cannot lose more forests.
Can
So
I add to this? I'm
yes.
actually surprised to see this huge scale construction coming up in Nicobar. The Nicobar Islands are actually a set of coral reef islands. correct. So I studied geography honors during my graduation, and this is a huge thing for India to have, like an entire set of islands made from the residue of corals. So when you say move some coral reefs, इतना आसान नहीं है. Coral reefs move करने के लिए you need an entire
Exactly. This is
team
super.
of people. Yeah, planning sustainably आप कहाँ move कर सकते हो, and it's not necessary that the coral that you have moved is going to survive. You need to मतलब, bring it up from scratch. And what is this?
Yeah, this
Asking
is
you to
very.
this.
Yeah. And the thing is, whenever there is, again, there are environmental activists who are saying that this is not good, but somehow, like what happened with RA colony, government always has a way out, because at the end we heard, okay, the construction finally happened, which was opposed for so long. So, but this is even more richer than biodiversity in
Exactly. And
comparison
the
to RA.
soil, the white soil that the Nicobars have, right? Especially, it's because it's acidic in nature. It's the remains of coral bodies, and it's acidic enough to not let the soil grow a lot of plants. So if there's any existing vegetation, moving that, usko replace karna might sound easy to some people, but basic is that it's not going to be as simple as they're showcasing. The whole case for reconstruction of vegetation over the same soil, it's going to take years. आप ऐसे बोल के बिना एक
Exactly.
environment
Like
assessment के
even if when we talk about like carbon credits, we say that their maturity is 15 years, and here we are losing like thousands of years of vegetation. Just imagine. Now, but do you want to add anything?
Yeah, because when you look at Nicobar, it's largely, even the travel to Nicobar is largely restricted, right? It has been a very closed society. It has been a place where, indigenous people have resided for like years and years, and they have this rich culture. The idea of modernization now is something that does not respect these traditional cultures that have existed, which is not the way of development that we should aim for, right? If it should not come at the cost of losing culture, losing local resources, because when you look at the resources, it's the right of the people. It's not the right of the government to give away resources to companies. We have seen this happen so many times, like our neighboring country, right? When the government gave away the rights to water to multinational corporations there who came from outside. Now the entire country is suffering because water is a public right. Same goes for land, right? It's a public right. It's a right of the people, those who have lived there for generations. And to see such a culturally rich place, which right now I think is very few of such islands remaining, to see that this happens, actually, it's very sad. It saddens me to hear this news.
Yeah, and like if you want to be having an idol that can be something more greener than Hong Kong, I mean, you can have an idol of making a huge forest which has even more biodiversity, making it even richer. The idols itself are, I think, the wrong idols this time, I suppose.
Yeah, even I was like reading up on architecture and things. And when we even think about our future, right, we have this weird dystopian image of our future, like cyberpunk is what we imagine our future to be, like very dystopian. But then there is a other side of it, which is a concept called solar punk, and that's a path. If we actually, choose this part of sustainability, our future could look like. You can just pull up images of solar punk, and it's a society which has finally learned to coexist with nature. And it's not dystopian, it's actually something beautiful. It's technology and nature coexisting together beautifully. So that's a concept. Like, just search up those images and look at it. Like, rather than being pessimistic and thinking that our future will be like cyberpunkish or dystopian, maybe we can have this. But then the news, things like this is what makes us pessimist, right, for our future.
hopefully we are going to be having a coexisting future, all thanks to the efforts of so many people who are working on sustainability. I hope that that's the part that comes true. So coming to the next article that I have is from the social sector. So let me just share my screen again. So so there is this family which owns a property, sorry, whose net worth is more than 20 billion USD, and they have been facing charges for human trafficking and staff exploitation. So so this reminds me of a story. So Sudha Murthy traveled to Saudi, I think Saudi, and there she met a couple of ladies, and their story was that they are trafficked from like Kerala or like different interiors of India, and they are made to sorry so and they are made to work. Their passports are taken so that they cannot travel. So these people are saying that the their personal wages were lesser than $8 per day, and their personal family dog was having uh, around like $8 per more than $8 per day of spendings for on his name. So what they are saying, what Hinduja family is saying, that we have been paying them, we have been giving them food and lodging. So other than that, they are getting $8. But if you imagine, $8 is around 650 rupees in INR, and that is super low. So even if the defense claims that workers have been treated with respect and they have been given lodging and food, still it's really low from that standard. So you can see like articles like "Nokron se zyada kutton par karte the kharch." So these kind of articles are coming up. So the from the Sudhamurthy story also, it is rather a very sad situation, especially for these kind of people from lower income class who are trafficked, who have like family requirements. Some brokers, they promise them that if you go there, do their service and be good to them, your visa is going to be sponsored and you're going to be staying, and you can send money back home. So all of that is happening, but this is rather a very, very serious human right issue. And I'm sure if Hinduja people, if they are convicted, then it is very serious, and this could lead to monetary risk as well for the industry. These people, they have a lot of money, but the kind of respect they give to the lower class or middle class is rather really sad. So this is Switzerland government. So at least these people are taking action. Probably if it was India, probably nothing would happen. It would get covered or things like that. So I wanted to highlight this because I found that in 2024, still if this kind of thing is happening, it's also really sad. So yeah. So these are the two articles that I wanted to share. So if you guys have any comments on this particular human rights violation issue, you can share.
No, I think the second news that you have shared, I feel very, shocked about this, that they are into human trafficking and staff exploitation, and that being it's such a rich family and being such a reputed family, and are doing this, and that too in 2024 is coming out very, very negative to the society. That
Yes.
is what I want to share.
So
Also,
yeah, please go ahead.
just talking about the Sudhamurthy one, it reminded me of a movie that I watched very recently, which really focuses on this human right exploitation, especially people who are hired at lower wage workers moving to another country and then being exploited. It's a movie that was pretty good. If you haven't watched, I would recommend you to watch it. It's called The Goat Life, and
Good life.
it will really, really open your eyes out to how atrocious this crimes can be.
It's goat life. GOATLIF.
Goat, the goat life is Adi Jeevitam, the goat life.
These incidences of discrimination are not as far from home as we think they are. How many of you know how much the security guard at your office building gets paid monthly? Yeah, so one of them had walked up to me. This was on my date of joining into another company. And he's saying, मैडम आप इतना जल्दी जल्दी क्यों कर रहे हो बैग लेने के लिए आपको तो हमसे बहुत तनख्वाह मिलती है people will wait for you. I said, okay. I'm sure. And then he goes, मेरी तनख्वाह कितनी है पता है जी सब वर्क प्लेस में डिस्कशन नहीं करते हैं भैया ठीक है इतना कम है मैं डिस्कस करूंगा तो भी आपको हंसी ही आएगी मैंने कहा, ठीक है then he goes 13,000 देते हैं मुझे महीने में एंड नाउ उसको मैं 10 साल से काम कर रहा हूँ उसको अभी बढ़ा के 15,000 करने वाले तो विद 13,000 गाइस बॉम्बे में यू नीड 3 जॉब्स मिनिमम कैसे चलते हैं
So I don't know how. I also had the same discussion with care security guard and actually they don't give them money, but their dress gets updated like every time. Their dress color gets changed. So I was like, yeah, nice dress. And he said, yeah, but क्या point है? Salary तो नहीं बढ़ रहा है.
So one of my friends has went to China. I've seen the opposite situation in China. So what happened there because of the economy loss and everything that is there because of COVID that happened. Now they are investing more into labors. So now on an average, the cost of a average labor is 50,000. So that is a huge economy boom that is they are doing. So that's what I got to know from friend.
That is also a pretty huge cost to bear for the corporate 50,000 in INR. So I suppose there would be a sweet spot for these people also. I think close to 35K per month is bare minimum. So yeah, so with that, do you guys want to share your news article? And I think now we can re-record this.
Yeah, I want to share my article.
So we'll join again on the same link because the time is getting over.
Okay, okay.